Hi, my name is Jason Hertha. I'm currently a student over at Kendall College. I'm doing a YouTube presentation for food service management class, culinary class 233. My assignment today is to discuss about a situation that could have been avoided in the culinary realm of food service, hospitality, or a service-based business. The article that I decided to choose was on celebrity chef Mario Batali. The article takes place in New York. Um, I'll read the article here. Workers at celebrity chef Mario Batali's New York City eatery Del Posto had settled a lawsuit against the restaurant with an agreement that gives them $1.15 million, as well as paid vacation and sick days for them and fellow employees. The Restaurant Opportunities Center of New York, an advocacy group that had been working with 31 employees and has targeted restaurants over their employment practices before, announced Monday that a judge had approved the settlement. The workers had sued in October 2010, accusing the restaurant of depriving them of some of their tips and overtime. In announcing the settlement, the group said Del Posto and its principals denied the workers' allegations. A lawyer for Del Posto declined to comment on the settlement. Jonathan Bernstein, a lawyer for the workers, said the agreement now gives all non-managerial employees at Del Posto, not just plaintiffs, 3 paid sick days and 5 paid vacation days per year. He said the settlement also said that workers who get vacation or sick days approved aren't responsible for finding people to work for them in their absence. It is a very big step, he said, adding that having no paid sick or vacation days is common for workers in the industry. Batali's Manhattan restaurants also include Babbo and Bar Yaman. The settlement only applies to Del Posto. The advocacy group said Del Posto also agreed to work with its High Road employer program, which looks at improving restaurants' working conditions. There's this emerging recognition that sustainable food practices include not only well-sourced ingredients but also sustainable labor practices. Bernstein said Del Posto wants to be an industry leader not only in terms of quality of food, but the quality of labor practices. Also here it states, in March, Mario Batali and his business partner Joseph Basnich settled another lawsuit agreeing to pay $5.25 million to another pool of workers who alleged that some of their tips had been held back. The group of workers include up to over 1,100 employees. Now, one of the things that I gather about this whole situation is, one, this could have been avoided if people are just honest and not overlooking or being lazy with people's pay. Now, there could be a couple different ways that one can go about this, but one of the things that I see is that there could have been a form of greed that was going on. Maybe Batali's, with the caliber of chef he is, it's very easy when you're in the spotlight for your ego to get really big and kind of overlook a lot of things that you really shouldn't. Because I'm always a firm believer in that, never forget where you come, and also try to maintain a good rapport with your work staff. It doesn't matter if it's the lowest of the low of the dishwasher or the highest of the high is one of your executive chefs that work for you. It doesn't matter. We're all on the same team. That's one of the biggest things that when I was in the military that I was taught. We always look after one another, and this is clearly an era of the opposite of that. It's kind of disappointing to see someone of that caliber just overlook somebody's pay, because that's the determining factor of if someone has food on their table or not. In the culinary industry, this is a very high-paced, very, very high stressful area for somebody to work in. It definitely takes a special type of person to work in this field, because it's definitely not for everybody. And if you're getting underpaid, and especially underpaid in the fashion to where you can't put food on your table, and these are things that people need to live, there's going to be some very upset people. And I don't know about anybody else, but I'd like to get paid for the amount of work that I do, or at least a fair amount. And it's very baffling that someone overlooks that and doesn't take good account or good records upon that. To me, it just seems like very poor practices on that behalf. And not only that, but someone who's tried to establish a good rapport with the public on to show how good this person is at cooking, because this guy's phenomenal. It's just a big upset because people look up to this man, and for him to be doing something like this, so overlooking or just for to have it go over his head is very disheartening. There's a couple posts here that people had put in just total awe of what had happened here. One of the posts from somebody that had put a comment here said, "I have lost all respect for Mario Batali. To hold tips for employees shows his horrible greed. They earn those by giving good service, thus helping his restaurant reputation. It's just shameful." And you know what? I mean, I can't really judge the man because I don't know what's going on inside him and what caused him to do this, but it's just a very shameful fact that it could have been pride or ego that got in the way for him to just hold tips, or he may be struggling himself, and that's what caused him to do this. So I really can't make any judgment calls, but I just hope whatever it is that he could sustain his credibility, and hopefully it really doesn't damage his career too much, because to me, from what I've seen, there's a huge thing that goes on to where chefs in the industry like to talk, and I'm sure they're already talking now about what's going on, and if that truly gets around, his reputation could be tarnished for quite some time, and that's definitely not a good thing. And for me, I just like to play the fair road. Treat others how you want to be treated, and that's how I were to do things. But especially if I were in a managerial or in a position of being a manager, that's what I would try to strive for. And also gain a rapport with people to show them that I can be very approachable and trustworthy and whatnot. And if there's any help that anyone needs, that I'll always be there. And these are traits that I find very, very good to a position to be in a manager spot. There's a lot of leadership tactics that I was taught in the military to always look after one another and make sure that everyone's on the up and up with gear or knowledge or whatever it may be, and even morale too. That's one of the biggest things, because you have to go into a place to where it's a very good experience for someone to work in. And then when you're withholding somebody's paycheck, I'd be very upset, and I wouldn't want to work there either. And of course, it's only a matter of time that someone opens up and starts bringing these issues to light. And for me, I don't care who you are. If you're withholding something from me and that there's an unfair practice going on, I will speak my mind in a tactful manner, of course, and I'll go through the proper chain of command. But it just seems like little petty stuff that people do all the time, especially of a chef of this caliber. And I hope everything gets squared away with him, and I hope the best for him. But it's just a little immature on his behalf to do something like that. And but that's pretty much how I feel. And yeah.